Hi everyone, I have something to read to you. We're living through a time when Just Stop Oil activists are throwing soup at Van Gogh paintings, and we can't talk to ordinary people about it because passing any kind of comment would require a preface a mile long. Just so you know, the entire climate scam is a lie, and we're not going to die of global warming because of excess carbon dioxide. The reason that your government is telling you that we are is because the multi-billionaires, who one way or another between them have every senior government official in the Western world in their pocket, and every celebrity, have instructed them to ply us with this existential threat because they understand behavioral psychology. And rather than controlling us through more overt means, which we may object to, they have realized that if they tell us that the entirety of humanity is under threat from a common enemy, it will unite us, and our actions will be much more predictable and easier to control. And if the existential threat can be something which causes us to self limit, so much the better. The evil genius of the carbon credit economy, where everyone is allotted an equal portion of carbon credits as per the drive for equity. But the rich people can buy them from the poor people because the poor people will be on a universal basic income, since artificial intelligence put them out of a job. And the carbon credits won't be enough to allow them to fly anywhere anyway, so they'll sell them in order to have more digital currency to rent items from Amazon, who will now be making everything to last, as per the new commitment to sustainability, having swamped us in built-in obsolescence for 40 years, which means that no one will have more than they need, and no one needs to own anything. This will be supported by the circular economy, which is designed to ensure that there is zero waste at all. Zip, zilch, nada, because taking things to extremes is the order of the day, which is why governments around the Western world have created funding for salaried change makers whose job it is to go into groups like Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil and incite them to do ridiculous things to draw attention to their cause. Because the richest people in the world, who are determined to make us reliant on electricity, which can both be rationed and turned off as a punitive measure, as required to weaken or coerce the population, want to drive us into various forms of digital currency because they've stolen everyone's pensions and they have no intention of paying any of it back, which means that they need money to become numbers on a screen rather than a tangible asset. This will allow them to track everyone's financial transactions using a technology called blockchain, which makes an immutable record of every single purchase your children ever make, which will be accessed by a digital ID featuring biometric identity, monitoring everyone's activity to make sure that you are a good global citizen worthy of your allotted digital tokens, which will be rendered inactive for the benefit of your health should you overindulge in sugar or alcohol. This kind of decision will be made by the artificial intelligence that has replaced your government because it is totally impartial and can't be swayed by ridiculous weaknesses like compassion. Welcome to technocracy. Thankfully, the United Nations has just agreed the Pact for the Future, in which they pledge to accelerate progress towards both the Sustainable Development Goals and enabling everyone to access their human rights. Because you're not born with them, you need to swipe for them. And this will ensure that our quality of life in the Western world goes into sharp decline, but it will mean an upgrade to the poverty line for many other nations. So we mustn't grumble about having to level down for the greater good. After all, the Just Stop Oil protesters are enabling the government to set a precedent for extremely harsh retribution in the face of civil disobedience in the future. So, grumbling about the system will be something that you will have to do in secret anyway, if you can get away from the facial recognition cameras and sensors. Anyway, that's what I think. How about you? Don't speak. I know just what you're saying, so please stop explaining. Don't tell me, 'cause it hurts. Thank you for listening. I love you all.